It's been 12 years since that night, but every day that macabre scene is relived in my head. People in white coats who come to see me make me take some pills to forget what happened that night. They say it's better that no one knows what happened, because it can affect the popularity of the game. Right now, I'm writing in my room what happened when I was 10 years old. It's time for people to know what happened. I will tell you just one thing. Never play Fortnite at 3 a.m. My best friend had been talking about a new game that everyone was playing. I remember that. When we left school, all my friends gathered to spend hours playing this video game. Games without a story or lots of strategy didn't get me, but this one in specific, everyone seemed to like it. We agreed that we would play on Wednesday, from afternoon until dawn. The next day, we had to go to school, so no one should find out we were playing that late. Maybe that was the first mistake we made. When I turned on the computer, my friend told me about a private server a YouTube user was organizing. He said he would give many prizes to winners, so they could buy different special skins. There was only one problem. The server could only run at night. So we decided to wait until late when the time to go to sleep had come. My parents went to my room. I pretended to be asleep and turned off the PC to not be surprised. When I was adjusting the microphone, my friend Tom told me he did the same thing. We started laughing, almost whispering. The clock struck 12 a.m. Only the light of the monitor lit up my face. We tried not to speak too loudly to avoid being caught. I didn't quite understand the hidden servers thing of this game. In a first thought, it was some nonsense to me. I wish it would have been nonsense. We waited an hour more and we kept trying to get into the server. It is too saturated, I said to my friend Tom. He responded that we must be patient. Just as I was falling asleep, suddenly I got awake thanks to a strange sound coming from my headphones. The screen showed an interfering signal and some numbers in green, kinda like a strange message. My friend and I were excited because finally we were getting a chance to play on that server. We saw the typical boss began to throw players around. Tom was pressing the buttons on the keyboard repeatedly. He said, "It doesn't work. I can't get out. Something must be wrong." Shortly after, his character launched itself almost at the end of the map. Then only 40 players were alive, and the storm caught me by surprise. I started running around the map to reach the safe zone. I noticed something weird with the other players. While I was fleeing the storm, everyone was motionless, and I saw that their health bar was decreasing gradually. "What is happening?" I told to my friend. "Why isn't anyone moving on the map?" "It must be a bug in this server. But look on the bright side. It'll be an easy win. We'll take the prize without much effort." I wasn't thinking like that. The game was becoming so strange and nobody moved on the map. I looked for weapons in all buildings, but I couldn't find anything. I could only pick up a knife that appeared in front of my character, as if it were given to me on purpose. "It should be a new update," I said to my friend. "This server is great," was the only thing he said. This knife that appeared in front of me had red spots on the edge, something like blood, but pixelated. The only weapon that was in my arsenal was that knife. When suddenly a player got in my way. He had the skin of the bird. I had seen it before, just that this one had a gaunt face and his eyes were strange. While he was in front of me, he began to spam the gesture lol, but in an exaggerated way. That was the first thing that caused me terror. Tears were getting out of his face, but he made a sound of an eerie laughter. After that, the character pulled a gun from his pocket and he put it into his mouth, and then he pulled the trigger. The screen showed an effect of blood and the victory royale appeared. My friend was upset. "This must be a joke," he said. I didn't know what to think about that shot effect. It was too real to be a simple game. When I was about to turn off the PC, a message was displayed on the pop-up screen. It said, "You can pick up your prize." I listened as my friend got up from his chair and told me with joy, "It's time to pick up those bucks." I noticed something strange when you had to claim the prize. I mean, for claiming the prize, we had to give our home address and only one of us would claim the prize. I really wasn't interested in the reward, so he put his address. Minutes later, he picked up the box and sounded very excited. He said he had bought the more expensive skins. I was glad for him, though I kept feeling that strange sensation. I prepared to turn off the PC. I thought it was all over, but the real nightmare was just beginning. The sound of the phone woke me. It was my friend. Uh, Tom? What happens? It's 3 a.m. What do you want? Go to sleep. I'm scared. I'm scared. Something or someone is just trying to open my bedroom door. The knob is turning and I don't know what to do. Maybe it's your parents, don't you think? Why don't you open the door for them and go back to sleep? I was so sleepy and was about to hang up when I heard Tom screaming in tears and indescribable fear. "It's not a freaking joke. I saw through the peephole in the door and that thing is on the other side. It it, it wears a pink suit, the head of a bird as the Fortnite skin." I didn't know what to do. I tried to call the police, but the line was saturated. I heard on the phone as the door was beaten stronger every time. My friend was terrified, and I tried to open the door of my bedroom, but something stopped it, as if it were stuck. The screams of my friend went out of my cell phone. The last thing I heard was, "The bird has entered." Every time the cries were heard less and less. At some point they stopped. Some on the other line picked up the phone and said, "I won this time." I could recognize that macabre laugh. It was the same I had heard while playing. I dropped the phone. My hands were shaking and something prevented me to call my parents. It was a lump in my throat. The news said, "This morning there have been different murders by an alleged programmer. He has entered Fortnite server, the famous game. Several bodies have been identified near them, a note saying, 'Never play Fortnite at 3 a.m.